Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our first Lunch and Learn for the new school year 25-26. Good morning. My name is Soren Richardson. Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm great. Thank you for asking.
It's so good to have you and so good to start the series again. I missed everybody over the summer. So we do have quite a few people here with us in our closed Zoom room here. We will be recording. We just started recording. I will be sending the recording to Sarah later, and she's going to share this on the website as well. As you are here, and if you have questions or comments, please use the chat or the Q&A feature, and we will answer those for you. I am going to go into full. Oh, no, I lost you, go. Hang on. I'm trying to share my screen here. Share screen. Okay, and then I am going to make this bigger. Awesome. All right, so welcome everybody. And like I said, this is our first Lunch and Learn that we are hosting in collaboration with Osceola Schools. And today we are going to be talking about helping with homework. Again, welcome. I'm so glad you're all here. You're taking your time out of your day. My name is Soren Richardson. I am the co-director here at PEN, Parent Education Network, and also the assistant director of programs at FND. But first and foremost, I'm mom of a 10-year-old now. He turned 10 over the summer that happens to have Down syndrome. And he is the reason that I started navigating special education, and I've been learning along the way, and I am doing this work now and able to share my experience with you all. Before we jump into helping with homework workshop, oh, but wait, Sarah, tell us a little bit about you. I almost forgot about that. Tell us your role within the school district and how and when do parents connect with you?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah McKenney. I'm the school relations specialist for the Exceptional Student Education or the ESC department here with the School District of Osceola County. One of my main roles here within the department is to actually organize parent trainings, much like the one that you're attending this morning. We have a number of events scheduled throughout the school year, so please make sure if you're not following us on Facebook, or if you are not participating in Parent Square, the new platform through the district we're using for communication, please consider doing so that you can be aware of events that are coming. We will continue partnering with Miss Soren in the Penn and F&D, and we have some other organizations that will be joining us as well. But other than that, I look forward to participating in today's event, and I hope you guys have and you learn a lot. And let's turn it back to Soren.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And at the end, I'm going to show you all a digital flyer that I've created where you can also find the links to this Osceola school district. And like Sarah mentioned, it's not just with FND that they collaborate. They collaborate with all other organizations that also support the same families that we work also with. So I cannot recommend you all enough to attend every single workshop that they are organizing with us, with everybody else. So before we get started, for those that are new here, I want to share a little bit about FND. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization that is family driven and family led. We are funded under the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Health. And to be more specific, our funds comes under the OSEP department. That's the Office of Special Education Programs. We are written within IDEA. IDEA is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which is a federal law that protects children with disabilities in public schools. And under this law, there are the there are, hang on, give me one second. I'm looking in the chat here. Okay, so they are different parts within IDA, and in part D is where PTIs, organization like ours, are written. And PTI stand for the Parent Trainer Training Information Center. Every state in the US has an organization like ours. We're all funded through OSAP. And because we get these grants, all the services that we provide are free. Besides having the PTI under the umbrella of FND, we are also the statewide family to family health information center that is named our Family Star. And they do similar work as we do within the PTIs. The difference is we help families and professionals navigate special education, and our Family Star, they support families that have children with more medical complex need and mental health challenges. So we as FND, we were founded in 1985 by parents of children with disabilities that came together for mutual support and understanding and sharing of information. And 40 years later, we are doing the same work, but on a much larger scale. We used to have one PTI, and now we have three, and all three here in the state of Florida. So we cover the whole state. We serve families that have children with disabilities or are at risk of disabilities from birth, so going through early steps to age 22. And then we also serve professionals and other concerned citizens. We collaborate with school districts and other organizations that support the same families we do. One of the things that makes F&D unique is that the majority of our board members, management staff, and all field staff are family members of a person with a disabilities or are a self-advocates themselves. So that makes that we share our lived experience with everybody and share also everything that we have learned along the way with you all. Disclaimer, what we do and what we don't do. So we are not lawyers, we are not medical professionals, and we are not doctors either. So not none of the information that we share with you during these workshops can be considered medical or legal advice. We do share information, resources, and we support you and your family. All the information that we share with you and that we use to create workshops and trainings like this one today are all research-based and vetted resources. And then, like I mentioned before, we encourage collaboration with schools and other agencies. So, let's dive into the presentation today, right? And the first question is why homework, right? Why do our kids spend the whole day at school and then they come home and then they have to make homework? So, research states that quality homework that has an impact on student achievement that is three times more important than a family's educational level, occupation, or income. So, that's one of those indicators that contributes to student achievement. So, that's one of the main reasons to do homework. Also, we know that homework is an extension of the classroom assignments. What is learned in classroom, well, most of us need to practice and repetition at home for better retention. Homework also helps students to prepare for participation in classroom for the next day. It also helps them with classroom activities and assignments. They're more likely to keep up with what's being taught in the class and know what to expect in the classroom. So, oftentimes, when uh, I remember when I was young and I was in school and I have not prepared, so I was not really sure about the assignment or the material. I will be hiding for the teacher not to get a turn, right? So, but if there is retention and they feel secure, they know the material, they will be more likely to raise their hand and ready to answer questions in the classroom. One of the reasons that I like also for my son to bring homework at home is that I am aware of what they are doing at school. I can help him, I can prepare, and I know how he is progressing in classroom on day by day and week by weekly. Also, it helps me to create and know my child's plan. I can kind of like estimate the time that he needs for the assignments. What kind of time frame does he need for preparation, organizing, executive functioning to get doing the homework. And we also know that new skills oftentimes need to be repeated. So, repetition and practice are very important skills, life skills actually, that we are going to need for the rest of our lives. And homework also helps with study habits. So by creating these routines and these habits, will make that students will be more effective in a classroom. Also, self-discipline. Don't forget, doing homework is not just also about the homework, but it will help your child develop good study habits and attitude about learning. And it will also teach your child about working independently. Homework encourage self-discipline and responsibility, and also a love for learning and love for reading and everything that has to do with schoolwork. So these are just a couple of research-based evidence facts why homework is important. Well, let's do a couple of did you know facts about homework and learning. And again, these are all based on research information. So it takes about 21 days for something to become a habit. So be consistent, keep repeating, and create the same routine. Make sure that your child knows that homework is to be done at a regular time, a regular place, and every day. So it comes down by creating better study habits. When you are a parent of a child with a disability, oftentimes it's going to take more than 21 days. So by creating these habits, this repetition will also create better retention. Um, Average day is 21. Also, another fact is that it takes us 3 times minimum to hear or review something before it sticks. So, homework helps our children to retain information learned at school. And again, for students that have a disability and maybe need more than just one, has one learning style, but need to hear maybe the information orally, I mean, auditory, written, visual. So it takes more than one time or one way to create this information to stick in our head. Um, Also, the National PTA recommendation also falls in line with general study guides. It is suggested that, for instance, 10 to 20 minutes per night in the first grade. And an additional 10 minutes goes in addition per grade level. So, for instance, 20 minutes will be second grade, and then 120 minutes for 12th grades. High school students may sometimes do more, of course, depending on what classes they're taking. But this is a research fact. So, also based on this general rule, a senior in high school should spend about 120 minutes, equivalent of 2 hours a day on homework. So, let's think about this for a moment. In average household, is this happening, right? We do have multiple factors that are different nowadays. I can't believe I'm saying that. My parents used to say that to me. For instance, now we have a lot of screen time, playtime, texting, and the non-school related internet surfing that ranks ahead of homework. Those are all much more fun to be doing than homework. So these activities are also important for socialization skills, for exercising, and communication building. But neither of them are strengthening critical thinking skills the way homework can do. So try not to bombard your child schedule with extracurricular activities after school, because this may interfere with the much needed time for studying and completing homework assignment. So we try to find this good balance between um, making time for homework, outdoor play, sports, and everything in between, family time. Find a good balance. So I think we all know the bad dog story, right? That children never seem to want to do their homework, and then they become super creative. It's like, oh, my dog ate my homework. Or mom and dad didn't get me my supplies, right? So that is oftentimes because they don't have the time, or they just don't want to do their homework. So learning and sharing ideas in a group of parents or educator is always a good idea. Ask for suggestions on what other parents are doing to combat excuses for not doing homework. Let's do homework fun. Let's create family time. We try to do that. We sit at the dining table and we do assignments and activities together. So while my child is doing homework, I am doing a specific activity. We are doing that together. And for single parents, maybe ask for suggestions. What are they doing? How are they creating those times? It's about finding different perspectives and ideas. What works for one may work for you, things maybe you have not thought about before. So let's identify the problems that prevent our children from doing their homework and come up with some solutions. So oftentimes there is a couple of factors that are impeding children to wanting to do the homework. And sometimes it's, oh, they just want to go outside and play and do video games. But oftentimes, more so when a child has a disability, there may be other factors. For instance, learning style, right? So by knowing your child's learning style, because we all have one, whether we have a disability or not, you can help your child interpret information and also identify the preferred way of learning. And this is going to drive your child's learning experience. And this is also something that can be incorporated in your child's IEP if they have one. These type of tools will help your child, and also what kind of activity will develop their interest in doing homework that will eventually develop their healthy study habits. When it's subject that they really like, it may be easier for them to sit down and do homework, but maybe if it's they not really into math. So how can we make math more interesting and fun? And let's say, for example, if you are doing additions and your child really like birds, then you can incorporate birds into the assignments. It's all about finding their learning styles. Also, obviously, their strengths, right? So, like I just mentioned, what is the type of homework your child likes doing? Is that math? Is that spelling? Is that science? And then by knowing your child's interest and strength, you can help with how they're completing their homework to make it more interesting. For instance, for example, like my child was not a big reader. And by when he was learning sight words, I started making really short stories about using those sight words that he likes about things that he likes. He really likes the movie Kung Fu Panda. So I was making 3 sentence story about Kung Fu Panda, and the next page had like this like a picture of the Kung Fu Panda, and that's the reward. So he would read those 3 sentences and get a reward. So it's all about finding how we can incorporate their interest in their learning and also into their homework. And then also this bring us to the areas of need, right? So identifying the type of homework your child is struggling with the most. And then try to work on this. So if you notice, um, maybe it's history. So try to find movies with similar history content, as long as it's of age appropriate, and watch it together. Watch it together. This is like if the child is a visual learner, and this is going to help for them to retain information easier in that way. So, all this information, so when you have the learning style, the strengths, these areas, these are all areas that that have to be in the present level of performance of your IEP. So if your child does not fully understand homework, it helps you and the IEP team, everybody, to gauge where he or she needs more support and how and when. So, based on your collection of information that you're doing while you are doing homework at school, um, I'm going to come back to the Q&A in a little bit at the end. Based on this information that you're collecting, you keep notes, and then when you have an IEP meeting or at a parent-teacher conference, you can share these educational relevant needs and with the team, with your teacher, and then adjust the IEP if needed. Now, how can parents help with homework, right? So we just we talked about ways that we need to look at to support the child, but if we look at us as parents, so first of all, we suggest to establish a good working relationship with a teacher. Decide with your teacher what's the best way to communicate regularly so you are aware of all assignments, needed supplies, the test days, and strategies that they're using in classroom. And this is going to make it easier for you to prepare things at home as well. So if your school district has a communication or a parent portal, be sure to become a member of this website, have your login credentials, and you will be able to track assignments, assessments, school grades. Maybe if your child is smaller and they're using a communication sheet that's going home every day back and forth, and where you can also write comments, use this. Communication, open communication line is with a teacher is extremely important for your child's success and your success as a parent with the teacher. It's also important to have ground rules, right? So establishing rules at home that everybody must follow. Resist doing your child's homework. And I know sometimes it's like, oh, we're in a time crunch and it's late, but try to resist doing that and stress the importance that other family members do not do your child's homework either. Like the sibling that really always really want to help, we have to emphasize on supporting each other, but not doing it for each other. Also, all family members in the house must respect the need for private study time, designated supplies, as well as study location. And you can easily come up with other activities for siblings during homework times. And if they're all school age, they all maybe it works good if everybody's doing homework at the same time. So depending on your family needs and schedules, set the ground rules at home, and those has to be also consistent and implemented every single time. Create a homework sign if needed, a designated specific time, a homework zone for your child, anything that is conducive for a positive learning experience. So make sure that the homework zone is equipped with everything your child needs to study, right? So they don't have to all of a sudden, oh, go grab a pencil, oh, grab a ruler, or a piece of paper that creates distractions. Um, the kitchen table is oftentimes used, and it's like the best setup for study purposes because it's so big, and most people can sit at the table at the same time. So this is oftentimes good. And then also explore together, right? There will be times when nobody wants to do homework, and or have we don't have the solution for math problems. They're so different than the ways that we used to do it at the time. So communicate with the teacher and request help with resources. I'm sure your teacher will be more than happy to share those with you, and also tips on how to complete these assignments. Libraries are also really great resources. The internet obviously is a good way to find resources and doing things together. Together, discovering and learning together is one of the best ways to learn. Here, another research fact is that our senses impact learning. And our senses are smell, hearing, touching, and tasting. They will help us remember and impact uh, how we learn. So allow your child to unwind as well and eat a snack if needed. There is a study that was published in 2005 by the Psychology of Music. They found that workers who listened to music while working had higher productivity than those who did not. So the study speculate that this could be because music boosts mood, improve motivation, and particularly among students who were struggling to remain motivated to complete their work, music might provide a respite for the stress and exhaustion of studying and inspire them to keep it. Now, we're not gonna put some heavy metal music on, right? So, very soft in the background, relaxing music will be helpful. Oftentimes, especially for my own child, fidget toys is are very helpful. It helps them to focus and it's useful for improved learning. Tasting and eating has also a great impact on retaining information as well. Many children have better focus on tasks when given things like popcorn, goldfish, or even a fruit snack on while they're listening. So try to avoid sweets because we don't want sugar rush while they're in class or while they're doing homework. But we want them to be able to be snacking, and of course, we don't want them to be hungry. And one of the other things that also is very, very positive for learning is movement. It impacts the learning in a positive way. Moving is procedural and involves memory and, of course, also muscle memory. Remember also, one of the most fun movement is laughter. Laughter is key to the learning process. So we want our kids, of course, to enjoy their learning experience and not dreading it. We really want to make it a fun experience, so they can experience lifelong positivism with learning. This is one of my favorite things to do is reading together. This is in addition to doing homework together is reading a newspaper, reading a magazine or a book, and make sure your child is seeing you reading. I also like to listen to audiobooks and I put it on while I'm driving so my kid can also listen. So there is different ways of reading. We want to model behavior. And if possible, try to make it a family thing. Everybody is engaged reading during homework time. So if you have more than one child, try and coordinate all children on the same homework time. This would make life so much easier. But if you have a large family, this would be perfect time to designate a quiet time for reading, right? If others do not have homework at a time. This provides positive reinforcements for reading and studying. And remember that it takes about 21 days to form a habit. So be patient and stick with it. Listen to your child's needs. That is so important. Listen to what your child needs. Okay. And of course, be patient. Be very, very patient. Do not get frustrated if your child argues about their homework or resists doing homework or studying. Really try to take a deep breath. I know it's not easy at the end of the day. It's really easy for us to lose our heads, right? If we're trying to teach our kids something, and then they have a hard time learning concept because of focus issues or disinterest, just don't want to do it. Use different methods such as reward system for encouraging these habits. Maybe a token board, or maybe whatever they do like, they can earn. But most importantly, research is showing us do not associate not wanting to do homework or homework with punishment, right? So review your participant shared strategies and find out what works for them. So if it's one child or multiple children, find out what works for each one of them. And then we also have the resources. So, as a parent, you are your child's first learning tool, right? Your child is since they're little and they can talk, they will ask you, why is this blue? What are you doing? Why are we doing this? So, you are your child's first teacher. Don't forget that. Other tools that are available to your child, of course, is the teacher. Once the relationship with your child's teachers is established, ask for resources. So now we are already in a couple of weeks into school, and it's a good moment to reach out to the teacher, ask for resources if you need it, additional information of topics that are covered in class, so you can review them effectively with your child at home. Um, Also, the textbooks that they are using in class, these are your child's greatest source of information, right? Because this is what they are covering in class. And learning devices such as computer, laptops, iPad, or leapfrog games are also fun for learning. Nowadays, we have phones, tablets, and also a variety of free application that can be engaging, fun tools, ways of learning. Use them and allow your child to have educational time on the electronic devices. And not to forget about the internet. It's kind of like you have the world at your fingertips. You can research any topics and find thousands of pieces of resourceful information. And there is a lot of free learning websites out there for little ones to high school students. And let's use family as resources. This is one of the best resource tools that we can think of. This can be done with siblings, with our neighborhood children and friends. Maybe cut out articles from newspaper. Ask your child to choose an article and write a summary report on the article event of their choice. We can also have fun Friday night, do a home spelling bee. And there is a prize that can be won, and this can turn into a really fun family tradition. Word of the week, that's also a fun way to learn those sight words if you have little ones. And then you can follow up with word of the week in the car, at a meal, and you can and ask your teacher if they're doing word of the week. Also a movie night that is also a fun family night, family tradition in the making. Let your child review maybe what they're talking about in school that week, and together pick a movie that is related to that topic. Make popcorn and then enjoy and talk about the movie. A study buddy is also a really good resource. You can ask your child who's their friend in their classroom, and maybe invite them to your house and have a study day. And these are the most well effective factors in learning that we wanted to present to you today. Before I go to the questions in the chat, I want to share this slide with you. So these are all the programs that we operate under the umbrella of F&D. You see POP and PSN and PEN. Those are the three PTIs that we have in Florida and that are housed under F&D. We each serve a region. PEN is the PTI that serves Orange County. And then here we have our Family Star, which is, like I said, our program that supports children with medical complex need and mental health challenges. On this slide, you can see our home address, and you can click this QR code to leave us a feedback on how you enjoyed this presentation. That is very much appreciated. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me go look at the Q&A. Let me see. Okay, so this person is saying that their child was merged into Jeanette classroom this year, but is still under the ESC umbrella. So the homework that sent home in advance is over his head. He does not understand the homework, and what can they do? So my suggestion is your first line of resource is your teacher. Have a open conversation with the teacher, and if your child is receiving services also from the ESC teacher and the Gen Ed teacher. Have a conversation with them and discuss what are the areas that your child is struggling in, and also what are your child's strengths, and look at the IEP and see how these accommodations, these services can be better supported in the classroom. Let me see. Okay, it says what happens when child release time 4:30 is too late. He arrives home, chill time, have supper, bait, then it's sleeping time. Yeah, that I hear that. That is also a oftentimes a difficult. It depends on what grade your child is in. If they are in high school or middle school. I do know it's tough. Try to do as much homework as possible, and review them. If your child has an IEP, and needs additional time to complete them, again, my suggestion is going to be to talk to your teacher, and with your IEP team. Okay, let me see. Okay, so they say I need anything right now. 14. My child is um oh, my child is hang on. My child is shy to ask questions about to quit high school. I please do not quit school. Again, have a meeting, request a meeting with your teacher, and if the child does not have an IEP, and is struggling, has a disability, please request. If they don't have the IEP, request a evaluation. Talk to the teacher first. If your child has an IEP in place, then see if their accommodations are being implemented, and if it starts with a teacher. Always start having the conversation with a teacher. What is happening in the classroom? If they have an IEP, are these accommodations are being implemented? And if in high school and they have an IEP, maybe it's a good idea to write all their accommodations and put it on the front on a binder so they can also learn self-advocacy skills by requesting those accommodations to the teachers, to reminding them like I need this accommodation. And but I understand you're saying your child is shy. Again, I would say talk to your teacher. Okay. We Yeah, so I unfortunately do not have an answer for the certificate of completion of ESC students. That is something that is still in the work, so I have no answer on that. Um, the webinar. I can create subtitles in Spanish in the recording for this. Somebody is asking for a webinar in Spanish. Sarah, is there anything you would like to add to the questions that we had in the chat? I kind of answered them, but do you want to add anything in here?
I would just like to echo what you said. Your first line of communication should be with the teacher. Depending on the grade level of the student, obviously it's a little bit easier with elementary than it is probably with middle and high school. However, don't let that deter you from trying to reach out. You are your child's advocate as much as you are their first teacher. So if you aren't familiar with the parent portal, I would definitely reach out to the school to see about signing up to become active in the parent portal. And the reason why I say that is because there is a way for you to email teachers through that platform. Make it something that is something that you regularly do, checking your children's grades. You should be able to go in and see what assignments are missing. If you see that your child is struggling in a particular subject, don't wait for the homework to come home. Ask the teacher to provide those resources like Miss Soren had recommended. In addition, she had said, making homework be something that is a part of your routine. Just because there isn't necessarily homework coming home every day doesn't mean that you can't incorporate something that would benefit. There are a number of apps that are on the class link that the students can interact with. She had mentioned Leapfrog, which is something I'm not even sure if they have that around anymore. But when my oldest were little, they had leapfrog educational games.
Yeah.
There are ways that you can incorporate like the stories that she said she created with her son, with the sight words. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that takes an exorbitant amount of time. I absolutely would stand behind what Ms. Soren said when it comes to reaching out to the resource compliance specialist at the school if you are having concerns that your child has an IEP and the accommodations that are listed in there are not being followed. I know one of the comments was in regards to, I'm trying to remember what it is. I'm going back through. I'm so sorry. Um, my goodness, I can't remember what it was. I'm so sorry. Um, I can't find it. I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, reaching out to the resource compliance specialist, making sure that those accommodations are being followed. And if you see that your child is struggling, request a meeting and see about adding additional accommodations if that's a possibility. I think the question had something to do with the amount, not even necessarily the amount, but the homework that was coming home was challenging for the child. Maybe you can speak with the teacher about maybe instead of having him have to do, or him or her have to do 10 problems for homework,
Mhm.
can they do five
Mhm.
or something? I mean, obviously, it's again, you need to open the line of communication with the teacher and say, if you have 10 addition problems, you can get the same information or the idea of whether or not you understand the concept from five questions instead of 10. It's just a matter of asking those questions and reaching out to those people who are going to be able to assist you, which is the teacher and obviously the resource compliance specialist at the school.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing, somebody asked about somebody to help them look over the IEP. That is something absolutely that we can do for you. If you scan this QR code, it will download my information. I'm going to put it also my email in the chat, and I will connect you with somebody in my team. We don't go to IEP meetings, but we absolutely will review the IEP with you and share resources so you are well informed parent. Um, also, couple of things I wanted to say. So when it comes um to homework, right? One of the greatest tools that we have nowadays is ChatGPT. And here at FND, we have a AI learning institute, as we call it, technology institute, and that's something that we're gonna start doing in the fall. So any parents can participate for free, and we're gonna teach parents how to use AI. For instance, what I do is I go in ChatGPT and I say, this is the problem my child needs to solve. Please help me with a way to explain this at a first grade level, and my child really likes pandas. And ChatGPT will give me different ways how I can teach my child concepts. So that is something that we can use, and we are teaching parents how to do that. Um, the same thing for the stories, at the big years ago, I used to sit down and like, oh, it would take forever for three sentence. Now I go to ChatGPT and I say, write me a three sentence story about panda using these words at a second grade level, and it will give me the line with the side words in it. So we have really great resources now. So one thing I wanted to share also is I put the link in the chat, and that is for the s'more flyer. So here is where you are going to find information about every single time that we have a workshop. We have one of these. We're gonna embed the recording in here. Here is where you're gonna find resources regarding the workshops. Links. This is going to take you to the Osceola ESC Facebook, their website, all these resources on the F&D website. Here is also, if you click on this, it will take you to the YouTube channel where we have archived all the presentations we done last year and the year before that, all resources, um, also the upcoming webinars and the topics that we're going to be having. And my email is in here and how you can connect with us. So please, the ones that put in the chat that they need support with their IEP, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you. We always collaborate with the school district, with parents, and making sure that the child is the one that benefits from all the resources and accommodations, information that's out there. That concludes our presentations. Again, please, I put my email in the chat. Reach out to me, send me an email. I'll connect you with one of my parent trainers in the region to support you. Sarah, if you need to reach her, she is also at the school district. Reach out to your teacher. I cannot say that enough. That's your first line of communication. They need to know what's going on and hear your concerns. Sarah just put her email in the chat as well. So that concludes our presentation for today. And we are going to be back in November, November 5th, at 11:30. Cannot find the email in the chat. Yeah, I'll put it again.
While she's working on that, I want to just let the parents know that we have an Empower Hour, which is going to be a little bit different this school year. We're doing lunch and learns at 11:30, and then we're doing Empower Hours at 2 o'clock. Typically, lunch and learns will happen on the first Wednesday of every month. As Ms. Soren just mentioned, the next one with F&D is going to be on November 5th, but we do have them happening every month with a different provider or community resource. The next parent training that we have is going to be on September 17th, and it's going to be at 2 o'clock. It's also going to be virtual. I'll be sending out information about that. Actually, I believe I might have sent out a mark your calendar for information for the Empower that's going to be giving information on Project 10, which is going to be pretty informative for those who have children that are going to need transition services. And if you don't know what that means, if you don't know what that is, then I suggest highly that you attend because even if you don't need it now, you're going to potentially need it at some point in time. So it is with my greatest hope that you learned something by attending today. I know there were a number of questions that were in either the Q&A or in the chat that did not get answered. If you would like, you can reach out to myself. My email is in the chat as well as Ms. Soren. And if I don't know the answer, I'm not ashamed or I have no issues reaching out to try to find the answer for you. It was my absolute pleasure. I truly believe that providing these trainings builds your capability as a parent. And I hope to see you at the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those information, Sarah, and I cannot recommend enough to attend the transition workshop that's coming with Project 10. They are amazing. You're gonna have to deal with a transition if your child has an IEP at some point. So that one is really good. And Osceola has a fabulous transition fair. I do not have the date yet, but that I believe is going to have somewhere in October, November. But Sarah, I know, is going to be sharing that information. So that will be amazing to attend as well. And somebody put their email in the chat. I'm gonna make sure to send it to a parent trainer, and we will connect with you. Thank you so much, everybody. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in November and stay tuned to all the great activities Osceola Schools is organizing for you this year.
Have a great night or a great
Thank
day, you guys.
thank you, you as well.